Hello, street leaders. This video is for question 25 on ACT Reading Test 59F. 25 state. This is on passage 3. This is the humanities passage, also called Dream Killer. Very careful. Most people should skip this passage, okay? But some people should do it, and this is for those some people. Passage 3 is by Lydia Minatoya. Right away you know she's Japanese. Always read that little blurb at the beginning. I haven't said that before. Read that little blurb. This passage is adapted from the essay Albany 1958 by Lydia Minatoya. Lydia, she has a Western European name, first name, with Minatoya, a Japanese last name, and she's talking about Albany in 1958. All right, this story takes place in Albany, New York. All right, so now we know it's right after World War II, and maybe even before that. It depends on the development, how old she is, and where everything is. That's just to know about the passage. Now, question 25 says, when the narrator says, oh, this story is told in the first person. Okay, so we're looking at Albany in 1958 from the point of view of a person. This is semi-autobiographical, I think, or probably autobiographical. When the narrator says, I would solemnly nod, the honored recipient of this arcane cultural wisdom, she most likely means that. Right away in 25, we see a she most likely means. Most likely means tells us that this is a level 3 inference question. You have to read between the lines. And how you read the lines, a lot of times, especially in a story, whether it's a true story or just any story, is you have to put yourself in the point of view of the character in the story. This is how you gain empathy and learn to not be a sociopath. No, really, like scientists have done studies. And please, when you read stories, try to feel what that character is feeling. Make them a real person to you and imagine if you were that real character. Okay, this is how we, first of all, get ACT questions right, and also we learn to think about things from other points of view, like other people's point of view. And that makes us nicer, less scary people. Sometimes. But when this is happening, she knows so let's ask ourselves, let's think like Lydia Minatoya. If you read in the story, this is when she's a little kid, she's a little girl, okay? She's a little girl, and I always thought that the dinner dance eve had some magic of Christmas. Every year I would perch on the bathtub's edge. I would watch my father fix his tie. Now here's a quote from Dad. See the nice dimple below the knot? Father would turn from the mirror and bend to show me. The dimple is very important. I would solemnly nod. The honored recipient of this arcane cultural wisdom. This is a very common bonding child-father experience back in the 1950s. If you didn't get this with your dad, I got this with a seminary professor when I was in grad school. I didn't know how to tie a knot, and I had to go to ORU. Yeah, but I wanted the cool knots that the professors had with the triangle. This is like back in the 2000s and the aughts, like 2002, like almost 1999, but like 2002. And I didn't know how to tie a tie. And my dad wasn't there to teach me. So I had to learn from the professors. But it was still very similar to this. You know, when that older man teaches you how to tie a tie, you feel like you've learned something. It really is arcane cultural wisdom. It can be a bow tie, it can be a Windsor knot, it can be a full knot. What I wanted to learn was the Windsor knot, you know. Even back then, you could look up how to tie a four-in-hand knot, just a simple knot on the internet, but I wanted that manly triangle. And yes, the dimple below the triangle, we call it the vicious V, that's very important. But yes, this is a very time-honored thing in the 20th in the 20th century, and even at the beginning, at the turn of the 20th century to now, knowing how to tie a knot was a very honored privilege that usually elder men pass down to young men. But even here, a father can teach it to a daughter, and it's still the same thing. He's treating her like she's a son, which is really important in Asian culture, just so you know, that a father accepts a daughter, and often the way a father does accept a daughter, because she's not a boy, is he will start to treat her as if she were the son he never had. And this is really cute and sweet. But if you've never had an experience like this, at least be aware that this is a very normal experience to have, and it really is arcane cultural wisdom. It's a very special moment. And so right away, we need to throw away C. When her father put on his tie, she pretended to be honored even though she thought his comment was silly. No, 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 this is special. This is really important. So C is wrong. B, her father was honored to be able, the author most likely means that B, her father was honored to be able to share personal information with his daughter. No, the father was not honoring, no, the father was not honored. The father was honoring the daughter by saying she was worthy to learn this secret information that only grown men knew. All right, so B is backwards and completely wrong. A, she felt intimidated when her father was giving her information she did not understand. No, she understood it. It was very clear. So A is a paranoid inference that if you picked it, you were maybe reading how you would feel in the situation. Okay? Don't do that. That's why A's first. A lot of people a lot of times what they put on A is how the reader himself might feel. They're just shooting in the dark, but maybe the reader might feel this way. And they try to get people to pick how they would feel in a situation, not how the character in the story feels in the situation. And that's why A is a trap answer. That's why it's first. That's why it's very attractive to some people, because people go, how would I feel in that situation? Not how does the character feel in the situation. It's like the opposite of being empathetic. It's like imposing your feelings onto the other person. It's projecting, not being empathetic. It's the opposite of empathy. It's backwards. Don't do that. So yeah, A is the trap answer for people who don't know how to empathize. B is the trap answer for people who just saw the relationship. They could tell some honor was going on, but they got the flow of the honor backwards, okay? And then C is just maybe what a really mean, sarcastic person would do. I don't know. But yeah, C and A are both what the reader, you, might be feeling, not what that person's feeling. And then D is the absolutely right answer. The information her father was giving her seemed important and made her feel valued. Yes, it was arcane cultural wisdom, and she solemnly nodded. Solemn means it's important, and it made her feel valued, that he would love and respect her and accept her enough to find her worthy to share the arcane cultural wisdom of how to tie a full Windsor knot. And someday, if you are worthy, Lord willing, you may be able to ask someone. You can even ask me, and someday if you need to, I will teach you how to tie a full Windsor knot. All right, thank you for watching. I hope this made sense.